So today I want to talk about gun control. Now I have two things to say before I get started on what I have to say. First, I don't mind if you don't agree with me, but don't post a bunch of negative stuff. Second, I'm going to tell a story about my mother. I'm not looking for your sympathy. I don't need somebody saying, prayers to you and I'm sorry for your loss. It's just a fact that gives me a different perspective on gun control than most other people. When I was growing up, my mom hated guns, did not want them in the house. At one point, my stepfather purchased a pistol. They were running a convenience store. It was kind of rough. My mom was completely against it. She hated guns. Then her father, my grandfather, when I was 16, died from a gunshot wound. This happened in Florida, but he was buried in Hammond, where I was living. After that, she was much worse. She was adamant about no guns in the house. I've never really been much of a gun owner. No reason, just didn't have a necessary reason, I guess. I am for citizens having guns. I don't think we need Uzis. I don't think we need for everybody in the world to walk around carrying a gun on their side. And in Mississippi, just about everybody does carry a gun on their side. It's like the Wild West. However, if I were in a store and somebody came in shooting and one of those people had their gun on them and they defended everybody else, I probably wouldn't be so upset. All this going on with the shooting in schools, gun control isn't going to stop that. We have drug control, yet there's still drugs everywhere. Gun control is just going to stop law-abiding citizens, we'll say, from getting guns. Criminals are still going to get guns, or they'll find other ways to use them. In the last couple of days, we've had several people killed by getting run over by vehicles on purpose. So now are we going to take the right to drive away as well? I understand there's a lot of people upset about the activities that have been going on in schools. I am equally upset. I don't think gun control is the answer. The school I went to when I was in high school was a pretty rough school. We had cops that were in the building at all time. I think schools need to be better protected. You shouldn't be able to walk into a school freely. You should have to get buzzed in, especially during class hours. But a lot of these kids that are doing this have been bullied. What are we doing about bullying? How many kids have killed themselves just this year over being bullied? And there's several ways to bully now. We didn't have social media when I was in school. I've seen several examples of people being bullied on social media. And we've got to find a way to fix this problem. And honestly, I think it comes down to how we are raising our kids. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Nobody wants to be bullied. It's a horrible thing. And it seems like you're only one of two people. You're either the bully or you're being bullied. So for all these kids walking out of school for gun control, I ask you, how many times have you seen somebody bullied and you didn't do anything about it. You didn't report it. You didn't step in and stand up for the person. Think about that. The other problem we have is mental health issues. We just had a shooting at a Waffle House in Nashville. I don't know much about the person, but I know there's some suspected mental illness. His guns were actually taken away from him, but his father gave him guns again. I think his father should be held just as responsible as he is for these 4 people that he killed. My mom was murdered in a home invasion. There were 3 people residing in the house. 2 of the 3 were killed. The third one, who happened to be armed, killed one of the intruders and shot the second one. He was later caught at a hospital in a different county trying to get the bullet removed. I think there's the only thing that could have made losing my mom in this situation worse was not knowing who did it. To sit every day and wonder who did this and who else are they doing it to. But thanks to the third person in the house being armed, he lived. It was her fiance. He lived, although he lost his fiance, my mom, and his son. He lived. There was a trial and conviction because one of the shooters was caught because he was shot. If you take the guns out of the hands of the people, you don't take them out of the hands of the criminals. And I'm not saying I know the answer, because I don't. But there are just a lot of avenues we must look at. Because taking away our guns, we take away our ability to protect ourselves in our own homes. And there are a lot of bad people out there. And I think the bad people will get much worse if they know they can go into houses where people aren't protecting themselves with firearms. Again, I don't mind having an intelligent conversation if you disagree, but don't post a bunch of ugly stuff. I will delete it, and I will remove you from my friends list. I don't want to hear negativity. I do agree there's a problem, a serious problem. 20 shootings so far this year. That's horrible. That's just in schools. Our kids can't continue like this. They can't go to school every day in fear. But taking the guns away from law-abiding citizens isn't the answer. Have a good day, everybody.